Okay, the pixels have been pushed and we should be live. And there you can see the demo cam is working properly today. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, December the 18th, 2025. I overslept this morning and I'm owning that. But you wouldn't have known if I hadn't told you, right? Correct. Because why? Because I am a trained professional coffee sipper drinker with you every single morning. How is everybody today? It's a little soggy out here in the Ozarks. Been a drizzle all night long. So it's soggy, but that's okay. It's like, I've got Captain Crunch socks, man. I'm gonna be all right. We fight the soggies every day. Remember those commercials? Anyway, why was I up all night, Jim? Well, because if you go back over here to the demo cam, and I'm telling you, okay, first and foremost, if you have not figured out that perfect gift for those peoples in your life, I cannot stress nearly enough a 3D printer and a 2D printer to match. And we'll kind of like take a look at stuff over here. We'll look at some stuff over here in just a few. But well, you couldn't see that. Over here, there we go. We'll look at some of this stuff over here in just a few. But I'm telling you, gang, like me and my buddy Tom early this morning. And okay, this is a very quick conversation because it happened very, very quick. But yesterday, Caitlin and I, or last night, Caitlin and I ran out, and Alicia, we ran out. She stayed in the car though, right? Which is cool. But anyway, but Caitlin and I, we had ran into the Walmart to go grab some dog food, cat food stuff, right? And it was so surreal and kind of, it is sad when you go through, like we have our rounds, right? We start over on the grocery side, grab that stuff, then back and around over to the dog food, cat food stuff, and then back up the other side, making the full U there. And we'll run through the toy department and then we'll check out the clearance aisle over there and then we'll make our way out the door. Okay. And that's always fun. But seeing last night, and this was like, again, it's sign of the times. A lot of different things, a lot of different reasons, I guess. One being, of course, the economy, stupid. Yeah, we know things are tight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But this is like the first time at a Christmas season that I've seen to where every single toy aisle was full and packed. And they had a ton of new product, excuse me, waiting to be packed out. And I'm like, man, that sucks. Because normally you're getting to this at this time of the year before Christmas, starting to get starting to see a little bit more thinness in the aisles and on the pegs, and it's not that way. So, what does that mean? Yeah, people are not buying, but I think it's twofold this year. There are the economic issues. Prices of things are just stupid. I mean, really, nope. If you know me, when it comes to like being a collector of things, I'm just cheap. I don't, the odds of me paying full retail pop are pretty slim. I can wait for the deals. I can wait for the clearance. I've been notorious for it unless I really, really, really want something, right? But just to see that the shelves were so full, and it's sort of like, it's that, but in years past, it was always, man, there's nothing here. Dang, somebody already got everything. Dang. Okay, well, there it is. But I don't know. It was just kind of sad. But again, one part being the economy, okay, stating the obvious. The other thing is everything is so stale. I didn't see anything that looked like new for 2025 that looked, I mean, it wasn't inviting, enticing, or anything else. So I don't know. Um, I don't know, just drinking that in. Not trying to start it off as a bummer, but just making a note. However, that note leads to I had popped a picture of some clearance figures. Like I still haven't seen Marvel's Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers. Right? I just didn't even bother. I'm not interested. Um, Superhero fatigue, I guess one would say. So anyway, but they had those two pack figures that were like $60 and they're clearance down now to $15 and they're still sitting there. It does look like some of them moved, but they're producing things that people don't want. It's like they're stuck in the pattern of, this is the system we play out every time we follow these rules. And so you make a movie with a merchandise campaign already baked in and built in, so on. Other than Fantastic Four, which they waited for months after the fact to actually release tie-in merchandise, which is weird. So the timing is all jacked up too. But anyway, and I shot that pic to my buddy Tom, and he had replied to it this morning that they're just making stuff nobody wants, and that's a very good point. But that's why I say to you all that for the Christmas season, which you don't have to wait for, because if you can't get here in time, it probably won't. Um, you know what? 3D and 2D printers are a wonderful combination because again, it's like it enhances the brain and the creativity. It truly, truly does. It's like I am having a ball when it comes to like printing up these like little morning mini props from oh, that's okay. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, but like this little fella right here, I found the model last night because now I'm going into like Christmas theme because we all need a little Christmas. Yeah, a little laughter, a little sunshine. So anyway, but I printed him up and he's just cute and he printed into multiple parts. So you get the different colors and everything. Can you buy things like this at the store? Yeah, of course you can, but not this one. This one's mine. Again, I found the model. I didn't design it, but it inspires me to study it and continue to learn and practice and work on designing. And that's awesome. And then the other thing here, which was cool, because this is why I wound up staying up too late. Okay. I this one right here, and you can see the better resolution like in my my profile pic now. But anyway, if you've been hearing any of the buzz online, let me pull it up here. So there we go, the comic book cover for Jay Jungen, Guardian of the Spark. I went down the rabbit hole of playing with okay, the leading like AI image generation tool that had been like everybody had been screaming about was Nano Banana, not to be confused with those little minions from the Despicable Me universe of films. Um, but anyway, inside of Chat GPT, they've now said, okay, it's time to step up our game. So now they've got an AI image generator that is freaking cool, man. I mean, seriously, look at this. Um, yeah, now this is not like a real comic, okay? Not now, not yet, anyway. But anyway, I played around with one of the pics of me, obviously, had it sketch it out, and then we've got an arch nemesis now that I'll tell you more about soon because it was just fun. I mean, for real. And then when it comes to Who Fell Down, I went full merchandise mode. Can't see that worth a flip. But I was able to take the 2D image of Jay Jungen there and create a 3D model that I then printed. That's pretty freaking cool. And that's the point. So 3D, 2D printers, go for it. Again, I got no dog in the hunt. I'm not making any money over it. And it's just fun. It's just neat. So let me give a little heart love over here on the comments. But again, I think that these machines need to be just as common in homes as the microwave oven and one of the 10.5 televisions we all have now. But I don't know. It's just amazing. I love playing with the stuff because once upon a time ago, when I was doing things like little prototype things, I had it in my mind, make something for the mass market. I don't really care about that anymore. I really don't. It's like now, don't get me wrong. Now, like with my book, Toys Are Totems. Yeah, I wanted that mass market because there's a message in there that I believe can help encourage you to kind of number one, enjoy what you already have more. That's a great thing. It's like you're able to shine your own spokes, if you will, but then also dive a little bit deeper into some of the whys and hows of why we do and how we do what we do. Um, and it's like the the that's the only thing I'm really concerned with. I'm going to be putting out some tie-ins for the book soon, and if you happen to be one of the folks who received like a Gar can tell you, I put together stuff that goes along with the book, and it's fun. But there's going to be some more of that stuff in 2026. I got a promo idea that once we get into the new year, I'll share more about it. But I had created that Totem Ambassadors page over on the Facebook, and I have a mission that I'm putting together for Totem Ambassadors, one in every state. I'll tell you more about it when we get in there. On that note, though, coming up starting on Sunday and going through Christmas, I'm once again going to kick off a free Kindle ebook version of the book as a giveaway to encourage folks to read it. That's what it's for. more than anything else. I see there's a couple like groups on Facebook, like encouraging authors and stuff like that. That seems to me more fishy, trying to get you to buy something, maybe, or just I don't know, but it doesn't seem like all that great of a resource as I've been watching them. But what I'm seeing though is now that you have the ability to self-publish, like in essence for free, outside of creating what you do, the motivations and expectations of people who are writing books, which you should, okay? And I'm not saying that your motivations or expectations are bad in any way. Not saying that. No, 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 no. You be you, however it works. I would like to frame a little thing differently though. And why did you write your book or make your movie or your music or whatever? And I would say that if you are chasing and you need a little chase in there, but if you're chasing it solely for the fortune and the fame and lose sight of the original purpose and intent of what you were creating for, that artistic expression, be careful because you don't know how the public is going to respond. And even though we've all got these big microphones that broadcast all over the world, the problem comes is you don't know how people are going to receive. And if you're only listening to like the YouTube gurus out there and they tell you, if you follow these 5 steps, stick to the end, like, comment, and share, then you're going to have a massive bestseller and da da da. No, you're not. No, you're not. I hate to tell you this, kids, but you're not. I mean, it's highly improbable. Okay. There are steps that you can do before you get into it, but that's work. Okay. There are no magic buttons. You can build community, audience, fandom, talk about whatever your music or your music, your book, your film, whatever it is you're creating. Um, beforehand and build audience off that conversation and then get everybody hyped up and ready for when you release and then okay great but that takes time and patience and persistence and a mindset that helps you understand that these things don't magically happen. New York Times bestsellers, they did not magically happen overnight at all, ever. That doesn't happen. Okay, now you may hit that zenith and pinnacle point of where all of the stars line up perfectly at that one moment and you get a big giant pop perfectly. You're hitting on all cylinders that connects with all the right people, and you can have something that does have a viral thing going with it. But those are very rare. Not saying that you yourself, in your uniqueness, couldn't have that happen, but you ain't special. And never forget the people who are telling you how awesome you can do with your own self-published book. Most of those folks aren't even selling a book, but they're selling you a course to teach you how to do it. And now I will tell you, full disclosure, coming soon, there is a course or two that I'll be putting out. But those are going to be backed by real world examples. And I'm not going to tell you I'm 100% right. No, 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 no. But I know I'm not wrong either. And I do know we all need a little help sometimes in getting focused. And that's another reason that my book exists because it gave me the opportunity to sit down in my own head and get some things worked out. And I know it worked for me. So there's some of you out there that it'll work for too. So yep. Yeah, well, see, the only popping that you hear are tendons and ligaments. We have got to get you better hearing aids so you can go bigger. Oh, Jim, don't be picking on Gar this morning. That's wrong. It is wrong. But no, but in all seriousness, though, I'm just thinking about that. And that's a lot of my motivation in the things that I say and do nowadays really is I love to encourage people, but not in an unrealistic way. However, some of the things I say and do may seem to be a little unrealistic because it's nuts to the person who's never done it. But once you start doing it, you'll see. Like yesterday, I had posted on the Facebook, I had gotten an email from YouTube. Here, let's do this second camera thing. There we go. All right, so over here, I got this email, right, where it was showing me that 4,000 and 4,004.4 watch time hours now. That is fantastic. And am I like all glowing on and walking on sunshine with this? In a way, yes, because that what this I know those numbers are nothing in the grand scheme of being a YouTuber, which I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a guy who puts simulcast this out on YouTube, so it's being active every day that this show is active on the Facebook. But I haven't produced anything in forever, right? Not really actually sat down and produced something. Because I have no at this stage of the game, I'm not interested in that point or that thing. I don't want to do that right now. But consistency grows for you. That's how it works, right? Be consistent and you will see a return no matter what it is you do. If you're wanting to start working out, which I totally need to, I've got to get this old body kind of lined out a little bit better. Not to get all pumped up like well, not Schwarzenegger. His boobies are on the ground now, but just get a little. I just got to get a little more health conscious on things. So, but it just starts at one step. Everything that journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, and then when you continue to take the step every day, you will see results. Doesn't matter what, that's intention. And a lot of folks are looking for the quicker fix, for the magic pill. And that normally leads to not the results that were desired, but in turn could turn into the delusion illusion, as I like to call it. And you can do that. I've done it to myself. It's like, but now you got to keep a nice positive mindset so you don't get discouraged on the darker days. But you can. But I can guarantee you, if you set up something to where you have some type of ritual that you do every day, and it doesn't matter what it's focused on, but if you can maintain that, not to the point where it gets stale, then shake it up at that point. But when you have a ritual in play, like with what I've done here and doing, I know 8 o'clock every morning, barring something outside of my control happens, I'm gonna be right here having coffee with you. And that's going to happen. And inside of the framework of this, I've already built what? My 3 pillar system. Again, that sounds so guru like, but it's not. It's just how I framed everything now so I can stay on point and not get scattered. But I have a lot of fun in between on each one of them. That's why they were designed that way. One product, my book, one service, the evergreen content for very select people. We don't go wild with that anymore. I don't knock on doors. And then the third being my project, which is the virtual stomp, which was great. Made a lot of leaps and bounds on that with some connections yesterday. I've gotten word I'll be introducing you folks here in Boone County and everywhere else, a Senate candidate that I just learned about in the process of doing this. Young lady by the name of Micah Ashby. She's down and around Little Rock is home for her, and she is running for Senate against the incumbent Tom Cotton and a local fellow around here, Jeb Little. And so Jeb, he's already got his virtual stump video up on the site at 72601life.com/virtual stump, or you can also do thevirtualstump.com and arkansasvirtualstump.com, and it all redirects there. I'll be expanding that out as we continue in the days and weeks and months because an informed community is a connected community, and we all need that. But anyway, Micah, I caught wind of her when I got the ballot and I looked, or the people who are going to be on. I don't have a copy of the ballot, but I've got the list of everyone who has done the due diligence to get themselves on the ballot. And I had seen her name. I looked her up, and yeah, that's like cool. All right, so I'm going to chat with her tomorrow at 3:30 to capture her virtual stump video. I got word back from Senator Tom Cotton's office with his campaign people. I'm going to give them a call here in just a little bit. So it's all nice. It's all stacking up. And then, of course, we're rounding out the Boone County candidates. So all you local folks here in the Boone County area will know who is that person whose name is on the ballot. And again, the virtual stump is my community outreach project. So I satisfy that news guy thing while also providing information that truly is important for all of us, right? Right. So there's those 3 pillars right there that keeps me focused. The best thing about my book is that it always reminds me that I've got to take the time to play. And there it is, this stuff. And again, I'll have to get a better picture up of that 3D rendering and printed of the me on the cover. Because again, that is so fun. It's silly and not all at the same. It's a serious work of art, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it is in a way because I had to tell the thing how to do what I needed it to do, just like I would a real human. I would, in a perfect world when I could know that I could budget out for an illustrator and artist, I know plenty, but I know for at this point in time, I can't do it. I've never liked doing too much of the barter thing. Early on, I used to do like, well, you get the exposure. Well, that sucks because the exposure doesn't pay the bills, not directly. And because I've been a victim of that myself, and I say victim, it's self-imposed. I've just done things. I don't worry about the cash, and it just unfortunately our society is based on the dinero and the need that um, you must definitely pay rent to stay on the planet comfortably. And so mitigating how you do it is the key to true happiness and success, in my opinion. If you can get into the position where you have as little to no debt as possible, regardless of how much coin is in your pocket, you're truly free at that point. Just saying. That's enough of that. Anyways, we talked about that. Next thing I want to talk about. Okay, so back November 17th, I had taken Facebook up on the offer to try out the blue check mark for $1. So I did. I tried the blue check mark out for $1 because I was wanting to see if it had any like true benefit and worth because it's normally like $14.99 a month. No, I'm not doing that. I was pretty sure it was not going to happen because it would have to have shown me something to where I would see that reach would have been more, well, it would have happened, but there isn't. And again, it's not that I'm saying that what I put out is so noteworthy that everything I say must get lots of likes, comments, shares, dopamine, and everything. No, but I do know how this thing used to work. And I know that no one sees even the friends in their feed anymore. Occasionally you might see something, but on the whole, you don't. And you see a lot of group suggestions, you see a lot of ads. And again, everybody's got to make a buck. Not coming at that. But the truth is the blue check mark didn't do jack. So actually I made it a point to cancel that thing on the 16th before we got here because I wasn't going to drop $14.99 or get stuck down that hole there. Nope. So blue check mark from Facebook/Meta. I can't recommend it because it did. I saw no significant improvement whatsoever to be Meta verified or whatever that is. So that said, there's my 2 cents on that. Do you as you see fit. And again, like I said, I've been up all night playing with that stuff. Another thing in regards to the book that is coming up starting Sunday. Actually, Sunday, the 21st, Caitlin's birthday, sweet 16. Can you believe it, kids? Sunday, the 21st through Christmas Day. The Toys R Totems ebook edition via Amazon will be free to download. And my hope and all that. Number one, I want people to read it, see what it does for you, or what it doesn't do for you, and then leave a review. That's all I ask. Nothing more. Share it with all your friends, though. Share it with your enemies because it might make them better people, and then you wouldn't have to be, um, you know, enemies anymore. The blue check mark to verify or to explain more, Gar, is whenever like you're looking at someone's profile, the blue check mark by the profile pictures means that the overlords of the social platforms have made sure that you are a human being. I don't know how real that is. Now, in this particular offer from Facebook, it was to better ensure that no one could hijack my stuff, which I know better. If somebody wants to hijack your stuff, they're going to hijack your stuff. They're going to clone you. They're going to clone you. That's just the nature of the Matrix in this version of the Matrix inside of the box. So that's just going to happen. All right. But I wanted to see if it would help in being verified that whenever I put things out, that the machine and the algorithms would know that I was a real person since I was verified. And so it would be worthy of just not holding back as much. Didn't do squat. Absolutely no benefit whatsoever that I saw. Not for $15 a month. I've got the blue check mark over on X, aka formerly Twitter. When are we going to stop saying that? I think I'm gonna stop saying it now. Okay, so over on X, I did that because they offered another similar deal, but in that one, I went ahead and did the annual thing on that. Frankly, I got nothing at all. But again, I just wanted to try it. I wanted to see, but I'm not seeing anything from that blue check mark of any significance now. But I don't interact very much over there either. I do my best to stay away and off of social media as much as possible. You wouldn't think it since I'm streaming here right now, but I don't care to doom scroll anymore. Uh, I really don't. I mean, the only scrolling that I will find myself getting sucked into that wormhole would be TikTok. But my TikTok, you know, I it's enjoyable. I'm getting like the live streams from like musicians out there who are just jamming and doing their thing. Get some funny stuff, really funny stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I am so warped by the Three Stooges that when I see these goofy challenges they have on TikTok that normally involve violence and pain against one that you love for the sake of the the views and such, I laugh. I am not gonna lie. Watching a wife slap her husband upside the head with a mop in real time because of some stupid challenge thing, I laugh. I laugh hard. I cry. I will lose my breath. And what's funny is kind of diving into like, what the hell is wrong with you, Jim? Why are you laughing at this man's pain? Because number, he was dumb enough to participate. It's not like it was just out of the blue. And number two, there's something rewarding. I know people talk about the ASMR thing and watching certain videos when you're watching someone slowly like popping bubbles, or you're watching a like a hydraulic press crush something into oblivion, and it just whatever. But I kind of get it more now because when I see that and you see things like, like I say, getting slapped in the head with a mop, and it hurt because the reaction was real. And I'm laughing now, right? Why? I think because me, it's sort of like that Nine Inch Nail song that Johnny Cash just owns now, and Hurt. Well, I'm not going to hurt myself today. But I think, I know for me, I've gotten to a level of numbness on certain things in life. And when I see something like it triggers the things in my head that says things can happen. And see, things can happen. And and you can feel again. So maybe I went too far on this coffee couch this morning, but it's just true. It's like there's that part of my brain that knows that I need to feel certain things that I've gotten very numb to. And that's a trigger for me. And I will laugh to the point where I cry, man. And I love it. It's so damn funny because uh, the Stooges primed me for it. So I'm cool with it. Oh my gosh. Saying again. Um, yep. So just kind of glancing over. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like social really is what you make of it now. The algorithms are going to give you what it is pretty sure, and in most cases, very good, knowing what you are going to interact with. So you stay locked on that platform, you rip off the knob and beat on the dash all day long. That's what they want. That's just the business model. It makes perfect sense. There's nothing crazy about that other than most folks don't realize that's what's happening. And that's when it gets a little manipulative in things. And then when they do start showing their hand a little more as far as like that they do know you so well. They do know you better than you, right? And that's why now I do know that the devices listen to us. I do know the devices are absolutely tracking where we are. And whenever you get into proximity of a thing, it will advertise a thing that is working with them to advertise to you. And that's not just on that national level. I've known one local company quite a few years back now, 5, 6 years ago, was already starting to sell it as a service, and I don't like that. I just don't. I don't send me unsolicited texts. Don't ever do it. I will never respond, and I will make it a point to block whatever that number is, which also doesn't work very well anymore. But that's okay. Whatever, man. It's just it's the minefield that we live in. Oh, let's see. Oh, no. Well, okay. And speaking of, now I discovered a YouTube channel in the past couple days that I am really getting a hoot and a holler out of. Let's see if I can just get straight to it. Because I could just tell you about it, but it's more fun when I could just show you it, right? Yeah. Let's see. Over to the history part of things. Here it is. Pause it. And second camera, second screen. There we go. Okay, dig this. This is the 1920s channel over here on the YouTube. And it's like number one, I love history, right? History is my jam. I love learning from it. I'm not trapped in it, but I love learning from it. But this channel right here has really sucked me in, the 1920s channel. And then it hit me this morning that, oh, wow, this is like literally a century ago. And that perspective and the things that people were doing at that time 100 years ago, that number one, odds are when you click on a button, you can like totally ape that line from The Sixth Sense. I see dead people. Was that harsh? But it's true. I mean, these people are long gone. They made their, they left their mark, and thankfully things were able to be recorded to share with us here in the future. But we can learn so much from all of them because number one, the struggles were all the same. We've all done the same things over and over and over against the human experience, right? But it's I don't know. For me, it takes me into a place that is a very happy place. I'm being informed and entertained and thinking back. And can you imagine, the then versus now, as far as like, because you got to figure, all right, if you look back, say 1925, it was the roaring 20s. It was the greatest time ever, right? And as far as everybody who was there, they're like, this is pretty awesome. Sure, the Titanic had already taken the nosedive, but that wasn't in the 20s. They done figured it out and they were having a good time until, of course, along comes 1929, and then we get the stock market crash, the big Great Depression, and all that kicks off. So, as history tends to repeat itself, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But again, it's fascinating, and I think it's so interesting to see how our great grandparents lived their day to day lives, and that we were able to capture. But like everything, when it comes to what's captured to go inside of the frame or on the page or whatever else, it is a matter of um, perception manipulation, because if you think it was all like that, you're wrong. It's like not everybody was a flapper, man. And all and so on. You know what I'm saying? But it's just fantastic. I recommend the 1920s channel on YouTube. It's a great study. It really is. The guys put together some good videos too. Very good documentary type stuff and collections that he's put together. It's just good stuff. I recommend it. What else is going on? That's really all I got here. Again, I will tell you more about this Totem Ambassador mission I'm wanting to put together for 2026. Because again, I still have a goal. I want 11,000 books sold. I do. And why? Because I want 11,000 people to show the receipts that I did my job in encouraging them to purchase the book. Now, I'm not still sitting at just 11,000. Yeah, I've sold some books, but I really want to hit that number. It's just, and 11,000 is arbitrary in the fact that when I first wrote down what my target goal was going to be, it was supposed to be 10,000. Nice even number, but my chicken scratch handwriting looked like crap, and the zero of the 10 just got scratchy and looked like an 11. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Keep it 11,000. That's deep, right? But that's the way it is. Mm. See, and that's the thing, Damien. Like the 30s start off on such a down note. And we're, for the most part, our generation, we were pretty familiar with the history from the 30s and everything, because that kind of really did shape where we are now for everything that happened during the FDR years and the New Deal and everything coming out of that depression, and the complete acceptance of the, what would you call that, the post-industrial revolution. Well, not post, excuse me, the height of the industrial revolution. We're in the post-industrial revolution, but the way people had now came to the point where they had accepted, acclimated, and were living the city life, the urban life, instead of the farm life, rural life. So yeah, but the 20s were that great transition period where it wasn't broken yet, up until 1929. Like I say, we had had our first World War, which, never forget, the world had no idea what that meant prior to World War One. The war to end all wars that led to the second one, and it's been chaotic ever since. But that window there from 1920 to 1929, so much fascinating stuff. And then when you think about the people who were contemporaries at the time, like because I didn't think about this, but Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes, Harry Houdini, magician, illusionist, escape artist, they were buddies for a while, but then they had a little bit of a falling out over the paranormal stuffs, because Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was totally on board. Harry Houdini was like, no. And so for a couple years though, they palled around really well. but then they kind of had a falling out because of that topic and things that happen beyond just talking. And it's an interesting story. And then when you look at the truly early movie stars, because by the 20s, you had the new technologies of motion pictures were now a thing. It was more than just a novelty. It was a thing. It was an industry. Radio was now a thing. It was an industry. Television, they made it sit on the block for, another 20 years. That's interesting to think about, isn't it? I think so. And then, of course, publications, magazines, and such, they were the thing, right? So they were still they're the information entertainment arm that ruled the day, right? And with that said, I love thinking about things in that perspective. That everything that is now that we take for granted wasn't always there, but some form of it was, and I just find that fascinating. I really, really do. Yeah, let's go back over there. I like looking at this thing again because again, this is fun. I like building out this little mini set thing. Just whatever inspired me the night before is normally what you're going to see the next morning. Now, I'll be changing stuff out as we go. Like, little mini Super Me is going to slide out of the way along with the cover. But we're going to keep adding to the Christmas decor here. The little nutcracker guy, the tree. I got to start decorating this tree with stuff. So I'll be firing up the printer on that and decorating the tree. I'm telling you, I'm digging this future. It's like I'm not. If you are apprehensive and you're not wanting to move forward, remember that you've already done it a bunch of times. I'm not telling you what to do and that this is how you should live your life. No, I am telling you be familiar with it because it's coming like a freight train. And mm-mm, I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna enjoy it. If I don't like something though, I'm not gonna mess with it. Like there's plenty of new things now I could live without, and I won't even bother talking about because if you like it, I don't want to diminish your journey, you know, and that's the truth. Let's see the printed figure. Now the Nutcracker, if that is the one which we were talking about, this one. Let me get back over here to the demo cam because that's why it exists. But this Nutcracker, let me move Mini Me out of the way. But the Nutcracker here, no, he's actually printed in parts. Different. I could, yes, the printer that I have could absolutely 100% have printed this thing in one shot in these colors that you see here. However, it would have taken an enormous amount of time because as it goes layer by layer by layer by layer, it's also printing a prime tower, as it's called, to where when it does the color change, when it goes from black to the blue, and that's pretty simple. But then you get this little piece right here where you've got the fleshy tone. Well, then there are three color changes per line every single time. So where this, all the pieces that were printed separately in color, well, here's the dealio. That was great because it took like 4.5 hours to print all the different pieces and then I assembled it myself. Had I done this in one shot as a multicolor, such as, well, like the tree. Well, no, that was like Aquaman. When I did the Aquaman, this little Aquaman here. Now he took like 13 hours. No, wait. Since I had a smaller scale, it was like, we'll say 10.5 hours. But he is multicolored, right? And it's fascinating. And whenever I get into one of those, man, it's going to take that long, dude. If you bought it off Amazon, and unless you live in select markets, you're not going to get it the same day. 24 hours later, 48 hours later. Well, guess what? I only had to wait 12, and I made that Aquaman. So I've got that satisfaction. And it's just a fun way to play. I really like it. So for Christmas, go for the 3D printers. I recommend the Bambu Lab stuff because it is the most amazing machine ever. In this space that I've personally used, I'm not going to downgrade or down talk any of the others, but the stuff has advanced so much over the 5 years that I've been playing with these things. But I recommend that one. And then a 2D printer. Now, I highly recommend. This is one of those things I learned about maybe a couple years ago, but I really started using over the past 2 years. Hewlett Packard, HP, they have, and I know the other ones, I think Canon has the same, they all probably have the same offer. But the instant ink service is amazing. If you've ever done any printing at home or at your office, you know the cost of things as ink is through the roof. I mean, you were looking at like $60 a cartridge. I'd go a little bit, but then you'd run out, and then you'd need $60 to go get another cartridge, so on. And it was an expensive proposition. Well, with the instant ink type programs out there, it's not. I pay, well, this one, since I also, they've got an all-in plan, so you can also get a printer plus the never-ending ink, if you will. I'm paying like $35 a month subscription, blah. But I do know that I use enough ink in the span of a month that more than justifies that cost. More than justifies. I mean, hell, looking at this mock-up comic book cover, that right there, geez, man, back in the day, that just to print that would have probably cost me $60 because all the colors and everything. That would have been one color and one black cartridge for real. So I can absolutely 100% for the sake of fun and business justify that monthly subscription on that. Even though I was kicking and screaming doing a monthly subscription thing, what are you gonna do? But there are different tiers and levels and everything. But just the ink itself, if you just did the ink and you already had the printer, which you can buy at the Walmarts or the Targets or whatever, um, you're looking anywhere from like 14, $15 a month. And it's of course monitoring everything you do. But as soon as you start getting low and it knows you're low and it knows your patterns, it'll just send it in the mail. You don't have to request it or anything. It just sends it. If there occasionally there's a hiccup, and you may have to, I've only had to do it once in 3 years that I've actually had to say, "Hey, where's my ink, dude?" But then again, Caitlin had went on a run printing posters for her room, and it's awesome. I mean, that's another thing too. She printed, God bless, like a stack this thick, 100% color posters, full to the edge, before it finally depleted the cartridges. And then when they sent them, I didn't have to pay anything extra. I'll take it. So anyway, now then, oh, so that kind of fulfills that question. Is 8:41. We are, what is that, 19 minutes away from the 9 o'clock hour. It's a lovely morning out there. It's warm. So by lovely is always a matter of opinion. But it's comfortable. It's 57 degrees, man. And but it's been soggy all night. But if you have your Captain Crunch socks, you're going to keep the soggies away. So, and I've done that. But yeah, so that's where everything is in all of these things. I got a busy, wonderfully busy day today. That some things I'm looking forward to getting the camera out to do stuff with, and talking to people that I've come to like. And I think they like me too, which comes in handy. Terrible when it's always a one-sided thing. But anyway, that's what's happening. I'm going to get up here. I hear Alicia ready for coffee. So I am going to have coffee with the lovely Alicia. And you, my friends, should reach out to your own lovely Alicia type and have coffee with them. Okay? Okay. And we're going to do it again tomorrow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise because of all the drizzle. And once again, give your thoughts and the prayers thing to the folks out there in the Pacific Northwest around Seattle, because again, those levees were broken and nobody's talking about it. And those towns have had to be evacuated because of the flooding. So that's a horrible, horrible thing. And all the best to you folks out there in the Seattle and Washington State area. And I hope they can get those problems resolved as best as humans can do. So that said, not meaning to end on a low note or anything like that, but just seriously, there's a lot more going on in the world than the box is just showing you because of your own personal interest. So sometimes you gotta, you got to, you got to look for it if you want to stay in the know. Or you can keep the blinders on and enjoy your bubble and reality exactly as you form it. And that's okay too. There you go. All right, gang, let's do this. I'm going to close it out over here on the demo camera since it's working, which I didn't do anything at all different. It just started working. So I'm cool with that. Anyway, let's have some fun today, guys. And we will be chatting again in the morning.